Ramadan is the blessed month, and I want to give you some good news that definitely the diabetic patients can fast. Here in Burjeel Dream, we are doing some risk stratification and we make an individualized plan for each of our diabetic patient so that they can fast safely during Ramadan. Because we do something called as pre-Ramadan assessment. In that we take like a detailed medical history for the patient. We look for other risk factors, what patient is having any history of hypertension or cholesterol or any history of strokes or heart problems, and what medication he's taking for his diabetes, because in Ramadan patient is not eating for the whole day. The iftar meal is bigger, the suhoor is smaller, so that's why the insulin doses needs to be adjusted. Let your physician decide what is good for you. We basically classify our patients into three categories: low risk, moderate risk and high risk. The physician will decide based on what risk the patient is having to fast during Ramadan, and this depends on several factors. One of them is the duration of diabetes. Then what is the kind of diabetes? Is it type 1 or is it type 2? How is the glycemic control? Then what kind of medications the patient is on. So suppose patient is on insulin or patient is on tablets. Is there any problems with the kidneys, any complications of diabetes that have happened in the last 3 to 6 months? And one more most important thing is the hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia by definition is blood sugar less than 70 milligrams per deciliter. So how often a patient is getting hypoglycemia? Is he getting symptoms when he get hypoglycemia? So this is very important. Sweating, shaking, dizziness, palpitations, sometimes confusion. So these are like common symptoms for hypoglycemia. So if the patient is getting symptoms of hypoglycemia, is good. But sometimes if they don't get symptoms, it's not good. Again, that is a big risk for fasting. Ramadan, as you know, because of fasting, the blood sugars can get variable control. So it's very important. Some of the medications for diabetes, they need to be shifted to the after iftar time. And also the insulin doses need to be adjusted. Some of our patients are on long-acting insulin, some of them are on short-acting insulin. So accordingly, the long-acting insulin dosage has to be reduced by like 20 to 25% of their normal dose. Suhoor, they can have a smaller dose for the short-acting insulin, whereas iftar would be a bigger meal, so they need to take a larger dose for the short-acting insulin. And accordingly, the oral anti-diabetic tablets also need to be adjusted. Some of the oral anti-diabetic tablets, they don't need any adjustment, so they can be continued at the same dose. It is very important that we monitor our sugars during Ramadan so that we can fast safely. And as we are all aware about the traditional blood sugar monitor which we do with the finger prick, there are some other methods of blood glucose monitoring as well. One is the flash glucose monitoring, where we put a sensor on the upper arm and then we can just scan. Even we have an app in our mobile and we get the blood sugar readings. And the another one is a continuous glucose monitor. So that's where us patients can safely monitor our blood sugars. Regarding diet in Ramadan, I would recommend to eat the suhoor as late as possible and to include something like oats or milk, semolina, and something like smoothie or laban or some fresh fruits. And iftar, to start with the traditional dates to recover your blood sugars. Then you also want to have like fresh juices. I would recommend to avoid sugary desserts because that could lead to high blood sugars after the iftar. And also try to include proteins and whole grains, legumes, green vegetables, salad and soup. Have a blessed Ramadan.